Welcome to the From Imposter to Empowered podcast. I'm your host, Jill Perrick, mindset coach and imposter syndrome expert, and I'm here to tell you that imposter syndrome isn't a life sentence. It's just a dysfunctional way of thinking. If you feel like your ideas are unoriginal, that your message isn't necessary or important, or like you're a complete and total fraud, then you've come to the right place. Time to kick your inner imposter to the curb and create life-changing results for you and your clients. Let's get started. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the From Imposter to Empowered podcast. And today I want to shout out my client, Rachel. So Rachel started working with me back in the summer of 2020. We had a single session together, and from there she joined a secret group program that I did from August until November. And then she joined the From Imposter to Empowered program. So she was in the first round of the From Imposter to Empowered program. And by the end of that program, she had left her full-time job. And when we started working together, she had so much fear around this. She could never see herself leaving her full-time job. She could never even see herself signing multiple clients. She just didn't think it was possible for her. And the reason why I love this work that I do with clients, whether it comes to the subconscious mind or really like embodying those changes through the somatic work such as Reiki and breath work, she was able to really see things differently, see her life differently than what she expected her life was going to look like. You know, she thought that she was going to be this person who was going to work at a company for a number of years or like 30 years even, and that was just her life, and this would just be like kind of a fun side thing. She never thought that it could take her full time, and she also had some judgments and some reservations around running an online business full time and what that would look like to her family. And we were able to pull back the veil on so many of her fears and stories around her capabilities and her family and what they thought about it and what she thought about herself. And the reason, again, why I love this work is because you just see things differently when you allow yourself to. And what that means is with each limiting belief that is squashed, with each story that you don't have to subscribe to anymore, it's like you're adding a new color of lens to your life glasses. You're adding a new color and you're seeing things in a totally different way than you ever thought that you would see them, and it's life-changing. It allows you to make different decisions. It allows you to take a different path. It allows you to become more enlightened and more in touch with yourself, and that's what this work does, and I'm so proud of her. It was a mind game. It was a thought process for her to leave her full-time job because it wasn't ever really about the money. It was about her feeling like she could make it consistent, that she could feel safe in her body, that she could take this chance on herself and know that no matter what, she was going to be successful. And she says to me often, "You've changed my life," and that makes me feel so good. But also I know it's a result of her changing her own life, her doing the work. Because I attract a lot of resistant people, y'all. Like, I attract a lot of people who are really negative, or they have this fixed view of the world and their beliefs, and they don't acknowledge their emotions. I attract those types of people because I was that type of person, and it's basically a challenge. It's basically a challenge for me to call somebody out on their shit and let them experience their emotion for the first time in a long time, and let them know that doesn't mean anything about you when you're afraid or when you can't stay consistent or when things are hard. It doesn't mean anything about you, and the more you make it not mean anything and you just get back on the horse, the more your life changes. So proud of you, Rachel, and I can't wait to see what else you do. So now let's talk quickly about this kind of imposter syndrome that will stop you from signing clients. And this is very sneaky, and this is the subconscious fear that you're not able to get your clients' results. And you may feel this way if you're just starting out, or if you even have a couple of clients and you put a lot of emphasis on the results that your client is creating. And the thing is if you don't truly believe in yourself to create a life-changing result for your clients, you'll say you want to sign clients, but your energy and your behavior won't support it because you truly don't believe that you can change lives. And a couple of things. So I'm going to keep it real. Not every person, depending on your pricing, so if you are charging a decent amount of money for what your services are worth, if you know that your services are worth a fuck ton of money, you will have clients who are more invested. And I say that, but I also say that there are some people who will take responsibility and some that won't. A surefire way to ensure that somebody takes fucking responsibility is the exchange of energy, which means that they are compensating you properly. Now, again, this is contingent on the client taking responsibility. So with our type of work, with the type of work that I do, you have to stop committing to your bullshit. And that can be very difficult for some people to stop committing to their fear. It takes a different level of awareness to be like, wow, I'm really feeling fear right now and I'm falling back on my old ways of thinking. It takes somebody who can really take responsibility for that. I have had clients, when I wasn't being compensated properly, I have had clients who haven't gotten results because they didn't do the work. And then I have had clients who have done the work and done the exact same things that I have taken those other clients through, and they have created amazing results for themselves and their businesses. That is because you cannot commit to something for somebody. It has to be a conscious choice, and that's why I really encourage you to assess your pricing and make sure that it is something that you know when somebody is committed, they're going to get results no matter what. Because we want to lead with the fact that you have the education, you have the knowledge, you have the experience. It just takes you knowing that you are good enough no matter what kind of result you can create for your clients. And that is in some personal development work, some mindset work, some imposter syndrome work. I'm at the link in the show notes. Work with me. You know where I am if you really need help building that belief in yourself. But if you are coming at it from that place, you will know that people have their own free will. So people have their own free will, and that means that you could do everything in your fucking power to help somebody, and if they are not willing to help themselves or do the work, they will not get the results. And this is bad news for people who hire coaches, expecting the coach to get results for them, expecting the coach to say, this is the way to make money, and here you go, here's the step-by-step, it's gonna absolutely work for you. And remember, we have that conscious critical faculty. If you believe that something will work for you, it will, because you're going to put the work in. You have the belief behind it. So when somebody invests in you, they are committing to themselves. They are committing to the work. But again, you cannot control the outcome of your clients. And how you strengthen this belief is by setting good, appropriate boundaries, by pricing your services adequately in a way that you believe that you will be compensated, and something that feels good. And to know that you are good enough and your work is to cultivate that feeling and those thoughts in yourself constantly. Because again, if you have a client that you perceive has not gotten results, and results can look very different for everybody. If you think that the only result is a monetary result, you are sorely mistaken. Because remember, I was talking about on the podcast a couple weeks ago how it's never about achieving the goal, it's who you become in the process of achieving the goal. And that can also be reflected in wins that may not reflect monetary success. Like the majority of the success for my clients is inner trust, is that groundedness in themselves, is the belief in themselves, is the freedom from the old stories and beliefs that were holding them back previously, is a new fresh perspective on life. It's everything, and it's not just about money. Money is just a side effect to those things, because when you have the belief in yourself, you show up differently. When you know that no matter what happens, I'm going to be good, you show up differently, and money becomes a side effect of your positive energy, of your empowered energy. So even though, yes, financial wins are fucking amazing and we want to celebrate them, if you notice on my Instagram at the From Imposter to Empowered program highlight that I have on my Instagram, a lot of the wins are rooted in their mindset, are rooted in this new perspective on life, in this knowing that they're worthy and good enough, in the uncovering of a subconscious belief that they didn't even fucking realize was holding them back, and now they're looking at everything so much differently and they feel so worthy and good enough. It literally gives me goosebumps, because it's a very small shift that all of a sudden creates amazing results for the future. And anybody that is really successful will tell you that the number one thing is mindset. The number one thing is like to stay consistent. I have a new client in the From Imposter to Empowered program who like said, I have everything. I have all the strategy. I have the step-by-step. I know what I have to do, but it's my mindset, like to stay consistent, to have that belief in myself that I can really do this. And she joined the From Imposter to Empowered program. So I think that it's really important for you to know that you have to do the work on yourself in order to feel worthy and good enough, because no amount of clients is going to make you feel that way. And even when you do get a client win and they're like celebrating and they get the results, if you do not work on that worthiness within yourself and cultivating those good feeling, positive, empowering thoughts, you're going to be like, well, is this a fluke? Well, I can help my client achieve this result, but what about my other client? It's just going to be a process of you discounting yourself again and thinking that you're even more of a fraud because, okay, yeah, it worked for this specific client, but didn't work for this client. You know what I'm saying? So the fear of not being good enough can really affect your ability to even sign clients in the first place, but also really puts you in your ego. And then you try and do certain things with your clients, or you try and force results on them, or you get frustrated because you're thinking it means something about you as a coach. And again, the commitment level is really important when it comes to your clients, and they have to be ready for it. You can say the same thing over and over to a client, and if they're not ready to receive it at that point in time, it's going to fall on deaf ears. And that's why a process is really important for you to take your clients through. And like, no matter what kind of coach you are, there needs to be an element of mindset in there if they're not getting results with what you're helping them with. If you're a coach and if you're helping them like run their business and whatever, there always is an element of mindset there. Because I mean, when I first started out, I was really insecure about the results that I could create for my clients. So it was really hard for me to sell coaching programs because I was like, I know on some deep level that I am good enough, but I just don't feel it. And like, so I would not be able to talk about my programs properly because I didn't have the belief behind them. Now, I'll tell fucking everybody that they need to join the From Imposter to Empowered program because it's fucking amazing and it's life-changing. And it doesn't just create results in your business, it also helps you create results in your personal life as well, and just in who you are as a person. You infinitely grow in this only 3-month-long program. So my point is that first you have to do the work on yourself if you don't feel worthy. If this brought something up for you in terms of like, oh my God, yeah, I don't know if I can create results for my clients, we need to look at that. We need to assess that and figure out like, why do you think that you can't? Of course, you're going to have imposter syndrome and stories from your past and whatever. And we need to look at that and really challenge that. And is it actually true that you can't create results for clients? Probably not. We're going to assume no, right? But we still need to look at those stories. Secondly, you need to know that like the commitment level needs to be there for your clients as well. If you have done free work, if you have done pro bono work, exchange of services, whatever, and the client like didn't really have that big of a result and you're like, fuck, is this even worth it? Like, am I really even getting results? That may be something to look at purely because the exchange of energy may not have been appropriate for what you're doing. And you may have been devaluing your own services. That person may not have put the work in. It's kind of like freebies. Like, I will have people download the shit out of my freebies, and a lot of people come to me and end up paying me anyways because a lot of people don't action on free results. I mean, I have a kick-ass freebie, like it's amazing, but a lot of people don't actually action on free stuff because the investment's not there. The skin in the game isn't there. And I'm sure you've heard it from a lot of people, you need to charge appropriately for your services, and you absolutely do. And that is because the commitment needs to be there, the investment needs to be there, so you feel like you are being adequately compensated, and the other person needs to feel like they are adequately invested. So now I want to give you a couple of like more tangible tips, more things that you can actually like begin to work on logically while we are still looking at those stories, releasing those stories around why you think you can't get results for your clients. So the first is I want you to really figure out what transformation you actually want for your client. Like, what's your methodology and how is it different from the rest? If you feel like you're constantly throwing spaghetti at the wall, we need to make sure that you are figuring out at least 3 points of transformation for your clients. So what is a transformation that you want for your client? It doesn't have to be some big bad thing. It can be something as simple as, I want them to be able to trust themselves when they make a decision. I mean, that's a huge thing, but like, it doesn't have to be a big long explanation. You can simply say that and then think about, okay, how would I cultivate that, and reverse engineer from there. And this is also a great idea for content as well. Like, when you have a couple of key transformation points, you're able to really create your content around that and what have you. So definitely figure out what kind of transformation you want for somebody, and if that stresses you out, just think like you don't have to commit to it 100%. You're just playing around with it. You're just figuring out, okay, like, what type of methodology can I have for my clients? What can I take them through? For example, in the From Imposter to Empowered program, we go through my Find and Defeat methodology, which is really taking you through all the steps of uncovering your limiting beliefs, understanding where they came from, any secondary gain associated to it, releasing and rewriting. And this is essentially any process for releasing limiting beliefs, but I have made it my own unique transformation and have my own tools and resources to help people through that process. So what is your process? How is it different from the rest? What kind of transformation can you create for your clients that you want to create for your clients? We already kind of talked about this one, but be able to decipher between what you offer as a guide or a mentor and the client's responsibility to do the work and be a co-creator in their results. So you need to be able to decipher between what your job is and what the client's job is, because when they enter into a relationship with you, they have responsibilities as well. There is no quick fix for any of this. You have to be able to do the work yourself and put time in, no matter if you are the coach or the client. So be able to decipher between like your responsibility as the coach, and you are allowed to implement boundaries. You should. This is your business. And then the responsibility of the client as well. And then I want you to assess how aligned you actually are with your offer that you want to create the transformation from. Your offer should feel limitless, abundant, exciting, and expansive, because your energy is everything. So if you can't get your energy behind an offer, really assess if it is aligned to you or if you're just hearing what everybody else is telling you to do for your business. Instead, what kind of offer and transformation can you get behind and work from there? Remember that you don't have to have a program that you have for the rest of your life. If you do a program and then you don't love it, you can always pivot and change. Your business is going to be constantly growing and expanding, and there's nothing wrong with pivoting and changing your mind. Of course, I'm not telling you to like change your niche every 5 minutes, because we need a little bit of consistency there, but just know that if you can't get your energy or support behind a program, you may just not be aligned with the program, and instead work on that transformation piece and work your offer around that. If you are listening to this and you're like, okay, yeah, like maybe I can get behind my transformation now, but I still have those beliefs, I still have those stories that are telling me like I actually can't create results. Like, okay, Jill, I hear you. You can create results for your clients, but I don't think I'm capable of that. You know where to find me at the link in my show notes. Work with me. You can either opt for a single session, which are always available. We have the From Imposter to Empowered program, which is a 12-week transformative group container, which is currently running right now, but you can get on the waitlist for the next round. And then we have private coaching, which you can get on the waitlist for, and when a spot opens up, you will be the first to know. And I love you guys, and I will see you next week. Thanks so much for listening to the From Imposter to Empowered podcast. Check out the show notes to get started on your free 3-day challenge to overcome your inner imposter. Once you're done listening today, screenshot this episode and share it to your Instagram story, tagging me at YourCoachJill so I can share it on my page. See you next time.